start on. Look forward to all the action, and I know you're going to have your first edition of the High School Football Scoreboard Show as well. And so we really look forward to that on Friday night. But as you said, it's really going to get cranked up on Thursday. There was a few jamborees this past Friday, including Madison Academy traveling down to Ben Russell. So, again, those games don't count. But as you said, this is what they consider week 0 coming up on the 19th or 18th and 19th. And everybody's getting started up for good. This time, all these count.
Yeah, I'm kind of like
Jake Crane.
I don't understand it.
Why they call it week 0.
Why have it be week 0? It's week 1. Play 11 weeks. We don't have to stay with 10.
Yeah.
We can call it week 1. I don't understand that. There are several jamborees this week as well. Those teams obviously started that probably opted to not play anything on week 0. But anyway, so high school football does get underway. 97.7 ESPN, The Zone will be your home to the North Alabama High School Football Scoreboard Show. We're going to start that on the Blitz Radio, and then at 9:30 you'll be able to, or after the conclusion of the Buckhorn game, you'll be able to hear it all live right here on 97.7 ESPN, The Zone. So it is a high school football fiesta, I guess you could say, coming up this week right here on 97.7 ESPN, The Zone. Oh, wow, what a weekend it was. If you're excited for college football, I guess this is one of those weekends where you start to really feel that excitement. Both Alabama and Auburn were on the practice fields for scrimmages for the first time in fall camp. We'll break all those down as we go. But really, one of the big things that came out of the weekend, and boy, oh boy, was it about as entertaining can get, because John Calipari started it all. You know where we're going with this one.
Mm-hmm. The second most popular coach at Kentucky.
Yeah, John Calipari started it by calling Kentucky a basketball school.
Which they are, but we all know that.
Right.
But he didn't need to disrespect the football coach, especially when he can't beat St. Peter's in the first round.
You wanted to pound on something. There you go.
Hello. You lost to a 15 seed, clown. Clean it up.
Well, anyway, Mark Stoops obviously was asked about that. I mean, it's going to get back to him, obviously.
Why did you want that range to the point where you felt like you needed to comment on it publicly as opposed to just behind the scenes or whatever? I don't care what anybody says about their program. That's not my business. That's not my lane. But when you start talking about my program and others that we compete against, I don't do that. I stay in my lane. And, so that's in defense of my players, the defense of the work that we've done. And believe me, we want to continue to push. But don't demean or distract from the hard work and the dedication and the commitment that people have done to get to this point. Again, I don't need to apologize for that, and I won't, but we want more, and we want to continue to push that. But there are so many people, so many fans, so many coaches, so many players that have sacrificed so much to improve at the level we've improved at. And listen, we all know this program wasn't born on third base. So some may, but I could promise you this football team didn't wake up on third base. I did a lot of work. We did a lot of work. The commitment from the Joe Crafts and the so many different people, and Mitch and Dr. Barnhart, Dr. Capilouto, so many people have done so much that you have to have a respect and appreciation for. We all want more.
John Calipari did go on to apologize, saying it was his bad, and pledges to support the Wildcat football team as well. But, I mean, what a 48 hours it was there in Lexington, going about Friday into Saturday and even into, Thursday night into Friday into Saturday. and into Sunday. Well, what an interesting time there in Lexington.
No doubt. I mean, it was a little bit surprising what John Calipari did. You'd think that my man would be getting whatever he wanted, but when you lose to St. Peter's, sometimes you start feeling some heat because, you gag. That's exactly what they did. But, and it was one of the biggest upsets in NCAA tournament history. But that St. Peter's team was a really good team because, they nearly went to the Elite Eight. So, you understand that it was a special run. But the expectations are high at Kentucky. Calipari hasn't been to the Final Four, I think, since the undefeated run that it was ended by Wisconsin several years ago. And he hasn't won a championship since 12, since Anthony Davis. But, again, it just shows how hard it is to do. That's all I'll say. Because you look at a guy like Tom Izzo, we harp all the time about the Big Ten, and the last national championship they won was in 2000. I don't see Tom Izzo taking this kind of heat. And he's been to several Final Fours, but Kentucky is a different animal because they sort of feel like they're supposed to go to Final Fours all the time and win national championships, and they are one of the most decorated programs ever. So it's one of those things, you have both sides of it. I mean, probably Calipari's taking a little bit too much heat, but at the same time, when you build a beast and you build your program the way he has, which is with a lot of one-and-done dudes, which means there's a turnover there. That's just the way it's going to be. And
creates a lightning rod for criticism, and
you're expected to win because you've got the most. And they always promote this. They've got the most NBA guys. He's got so many NBA players there, but yet that doesn't guarantee. That's the beautiful thing about basketball. Just because you've got the most NBA talent doesn't mean you're always going to win it, because you may come up against a hotter team or a more experienced team and you may lose. In basketball, more often than not, the most talented team doesn't win. It's the most cohesive team, the most together team, the toughest team. It's in football.
That's describing Kentucky football, though, right now.
Yeah, in a lot of ways, because what Coach Stoops...
They're not the most talented, but they've
gotten better, though, and they're tough.
They're a team.
And nobody in their right mind would have thought, A, that Mark Stoops would be about to be the winningest coach in Kentucky history and past Coach Bryant. B, that he would have won 10 games 2 of the last 4 years. And C, would be considered potentially a top 4 team in the SEC right now. Okay? He's done a remarkable job. And, let me say D, too, and turned down Florida State to stay at Kentucky. And turned down Florida State to stay at Kentucky. Yep. And turned down Florida State to stay at Kentucky, which he did.
All right, let's go out to the phone lines. 256-576-4977. That's the number to get in. Jeff from the Borough with us real fast. Good morning, Jeff.
Morning, Jeff.
Guys, first of all, he didn't turn down Florida State. He went up there. He asked more questions of them than they did him. He never was offered that job. He didn't turn nothing down. Number one.
Number one, Jeff, if he had
Florida State, they didn't offer it to him.
Well, all I'm just saying, Jeff, is if he had heard what he wanted to hear and said, "I want this job," I think they would have hired him. Okay?
No.
I'm actually complimenting your program, Jeff.
No.
I mean, come on, man.
He wants to build something in Kentucky. No, he's already said that one day he got there. No, As far as Calipari, no, he shouldn't open his mouth, and they're going to figure it out themselves. They're two professional men, just like Barnhart said. He's not going to do nothing to it. And the reason why Calipari is mad a little bit because he wants some newer facilities, and Barnhart already told him no, it's not on the plans. That's why it's what the whole deal is. And we lost to St. Peter's. Ain't the first time we're going to lose the first round. Ain't the last. 40 years ago, we lost to my alma mater, Middle Tennessee State, in Memorial Gym in Nashville. I was there that night. And so it's not the last time and the first time. And yes, we are the premier basketball program. Like Cal says, we're the gold standard. Right now, we might not be, but we've gotten more banners than anybody in the Southeastern Conference, second to only UCLA. So we all know we're a great program, and Stoops knows it too, and he loves the fact that we have a great tradition in basketball. He sells that when he recruits, probably. If they play the recruits, tell them what these NBA players play. So, I mean, they're going to be fine. They're two professional men. They're going to take care of it themselves.
Wow.
And that's the way it is. So y'all hang in there, guys, and see if Nate Oates can win a championship. Y'all hang in there.
Well, you're dense, Jeff. That's all I'll say. You can't even take a compliment. You turn it into something else to try to, start an argument because you're a moron. But that's okay. You've been nominated for one of the damn bunch.
I fully believe, though, when Mark Stoops recruits, he probably mentions the basketball program, but he also mentions what they've done lately as well. Logan Stenberg, draft pick.
Yeah.
They've had other draft. Kentucky has produced draft picks on the football side. Anyway,
they've developed players. They've done a really good job, and I think Cal will eventually get his practice gym. Though I will say, I don't really think that Kentucky's facilities are awful. Okay, in basketball, let's understand something. And I'm hearing good things. I think Kentucky's probably going to be loaded for bear this year. They need to be. Cal needs to have a great year like this. Now he's lost a guy like Kenny Payne, who he had actually lost him a couple years ago. He'd been in the NBA, but now he's at Louisville, which makes it even more difficult to get players because Louisville tired Nolan Smith. They're going to start getting talent, going to start getting better. Certainly, and again, I think the SEC is better in basketball. I think they've, certainly Nate Oates hasn't won a national championship, and Calipari's won one. How many has Coach K won? He retired with 5. And, Christian Laettner says, hello, Jeff. I know you never go a day without thinking about it, brother.
It was a big weekend for both Auburn and Alabama. Both teams on the scrimmage field as well. Here's a little Nick Saban from the weekend.
How you doing today? Good. So as first scrimmages go, I think the number one goal is you want to evaluate who will go out there and compete. I've talked about this many times before. You're in practice, coaches are telling guys what to do, but for the first time they're out there on the field. They have to be able to show that they are responsible and accountable to do their job, but we also have to evaluate, how can they sustain their effort? Do they have the mental energy to sustain the kind of toughness to overcome a bad play, a drop ball, a missed assignment? And that's one of the things that I think we need to do better. We started out today with a lot of energy, and as things moved along, we weren't able to sustain it. And sometimes you got to be able to, regain that energy when things aren't going bad or things get difficult. We want everybody to be able to reach their full potential, do what they're capable of doing, challenge themselves to be able to do it. And this is a tough time. Camp is a tough time to do it. It's not as tough as it used to be. It used to be we get 2 a days, then we went 2-1, 2-1. Now we do 1 a days, sometimes in pads, sometimes in shells, sometimes in helmets, which I think is okay for the training of the players. But I also think that players have to overcome and define what is really hard and what's my mindset to sort of stay focused on the things that I need to do to get better, have positive energy, and go about my work in a way where I can improve. And I think the number one thing that you want all players to do after first scrimmage is say, this is a chance for me to self-assess. Self-assess my conditioning level, my ability to sustain, my mental toughness to be able to play the next play and continue to play with the kind of intensity that's going to help me play with winning football. And am I a responsible, accountable player that everybody can count on to go out there and do my job in an effective way? So there were a lot of good things out there on the field today, but we got sloppy at times, had way too many penalties, and a lot of undisciplined type penalties, whether they were illegal formations, offsides on defense. So all things that are correctable. I thought the kicking game was good. The specialists executed fairly well. I'm not disappointed in any way, but I think at this point, you would expect to need to practice to improve on a lot of things.
Before we get into all the breakdowns, I know the phone lines are full, so let's get out to Bama Bino on line 1. Good morning, Bama Bino.
What's up, Bama Bino?
Hey, guys. Good show this morning. Y'all making it okay?
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Oh, I'm just ready for football.
No doubt.
Yes. It's coming.
I just want to comment on Mark Stoops and his character. And, he didn't try to jab anybody. He pretty well had to stick up for his players. Them guys don't get out there and sweat. They can't help what happened before. But I just think that was just a great, and I don't even think he meant for it to be a comeback. But, these guys didn't wake up on third base. That just
all you got to do is wake up and make one step and you're home. That means they didn't inherit nothing. They didn't inherit a program and a donor program and all of these blue blood perks that Calipari did. And I'm not taking nothing away from Calipari. I think he's a great motivational guy, and I'm not demeaning him in any way. But I don't think he meant nothing by it. But Mark Stoops showed his character by just hey, these guys didn't wake up on third base. That says it all right there. And I'm picking him. He's got a chance to be second in the East. If not, I don't know what Georgia's got. I mean, I'm sure they're going to be real good. They're going to be well coached. But, they may can compete at least for second in the East. And who knows? But that's a big step in the time frame he's been there. And I just think he's got great character.
Well, point.
Really, really do.
Good.
Well, I think he's done a great job, too. There's no doubt, Bama Bino. Thank you for the phone call.
All right, let's get out there. Richard's with us on line 2. Good morning, Richard.
Morning, guys. On Calipari, and I don't know anything about facilities. It was built in 2007, and I don't know how long it takes to be outdated, but the roof leaked the other day, and they had to move practice. That's what got him going about a new facility. Like I said, I don't have a clue about, how long a facility is good for. You know what I mean? Alabama, they, for football, they, the facilities, they improve them all the time. And like I said, I don't have a clue when one is outdated, but it's 2007. And like I said, the roof leaked, and they had to move practice before they went to the Bahamas. That's what got it going.
Well, I mean, I'm sure they're going to fix it. I mean, and they'll eventually upgrade it. I mean, it's Kentucky. I mean, come on. I mean, but I just think Cal went a little far.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
in his aggression, especially when you've lost to St. Peter's.
Drew, I drove all the way to College Station to get you that autograph now.
Oh, wow. Well, I appreciate that. It's always great to look at Dirt Neck every morning.
Jimbo said he cut you off then, and he's waiting to cut you back off in October in Tuscaloosa after they win again. Said when you try to ask him a question after the game press conference, so he's looking forward to meeting you again.
Well, he may do the Lincoln Riley and say that he outscored a team in the second half, even though he got his ass whipped. But we'll see.
Yeah, he's impressed by you though. Dirt Neck likes his nickname, so.
Nice.
Yeah, they're going to get together the Friday before the game and hash this all out.
Yep. Did you go to the scrimmage on Saturday, Drew?
I did not, sir.
Oh, okay. No, I just want to, call out, like I said, I'm not taking up for Cal, but that's what got him going there was that. And then, went a little too far mentioning Stoops in there, so.
Yeah. But I know you were probably very interested in Alabama's tour overseas, and they played well in Spain and France, Richard.
Yeah, we should have some kind of TV or a replay or something to, outside of just kind of watching scores to get a better idea. But it seems like the Chinese team was pretty good.
Yeah, they were supposed to be. Yeah.
I don't know if you say FIBA, but basically that was
FIBA, yeah.
Because they had been in Australia like a week or two before, trying to qualify.
Yes.
I think they call it the World Cup of basketball.
Yes.
Out. So that's their national team. With those other, because most of these other teams that we played and everybody else were jokes. I mean.
Yeah, the Lithuania B team. Yeah, Spain Select. They were younger guys. Yeah.
And just like Arkansas and all these teams are beating people by 60 and 70 points, you would have to think some of the high school teams around here would probably give them a better game than some of those teams out. So, but like I said, impressed, and I think they got back in town yesterday, so they're back in the U.S.
Yeah, they are. Well, appreciate it, Richard.
Yep.
Yeah, see you guys later.
Let's get that first break in. When we come back, we'll dissect Alabama's first scrimmage with Travis Ryer coming up next.
You're listening to Talkin' Ball on 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
Got a new wreck in Decatur at 5th and Austinville. That one may have an injury. Parkway northbound right in front of Parkway Place. No injury reported there. 565 eastbound just before the Parkway southbound exit. That's also going to turn out to be a no injury. 4 Mile Post in Carl T. did report as an injury time. From routine care to heart failure, Dr. Randall Burns and the team at Huntsville Heart Specialist on Bob Wallace Avenue have the expertise to care for all matters of the heart. Captain Nick in the North Parkway, Popeyes Skywatch Traffic Center.
This is Wes Neighbors talking to Chris Haygood of Bob Wallace Appliance. Chris, what sets you apart from other appliance dealerships?
Wes, these appliances are going into the most used room in your house, your kitchen. The way we have these appliances displayed, it's easy for you to visualize how they'll look in your home. Wes, what sets us apart is the people. They're well trained. In fact, they live and breathe these appliances. And if you need service, you'll really appreciate our parts department.
Contact Bob Wallace Appliance at 256-533-2121.
This is Wes Neighbors with Philip with Eagle Insulation, and we have an announcement to make.
Yes, Wes, we are now Eagle Masonry and Insulation. We're still a place to call for your insulation needs, but now we offer masonry services.
What kind of masonry projects can you handle?
Wes, no job is too big, no job is too small. We can do renovations, new construction, outdoor fireplaces, fire pits, brick landscape borders.
Well, when you came out to my house, you did both the insulation and masonry at the same time. You guys did rock for me, you did brick for me, and you insulated my house. That's usually done at the same time that you're building a house.
Absolutely. It really capitalizes on two services you need at the same time, and you can get one company to handle both of those.
Philip with Eagle Insulation will come out, do your installation. He'll do your masonry. They do a great job. They guarantee your work. Check out more online at insulatedwitheagle.com and schedule your free examination today. 256-755-1556.
Thanks, Wes.
You've got to experience Toyotathon at Bill Penney Toyota. They've got the selection with over 700 new Toyotas to choose from. And they've got the extras with Bill Penney perks and a 10-year unlimited warranty. So get on over to Bill Penney Toyota today and experience Toyotathon. Bill Penney Toyota in Huntsville and online at BillPenneyToyota.com. Bill Penney's Toyota 10-year unlimited warranty is valid through the 10th year of ownership. Valid on new vehicles only. See dealer for details.
Guys, when we were 20, we never had to worry about spontaneity. And now that we've gotten older, spontaneity has been replaced with pills and injections. We're just trying to keep that intimacy, but it's taken away from spontaneity. At Advanced Life Clinic, we now offer GainsWave, which uses sound waves to non-invasively treat this issue with no need for pills or injections. Just give us a call, 256-888-9367, or check us out online, advancedlifeclinic.com.
I'm here with Stan McDonald of the Stanton Law Firm. Stan, I guess you are the Stanton in the law firm.
Yes, Wes, that's me, and we started the Stanton Law Firm so that myself and 4 other attorneys with me can help clients litigate, negotiate, and creatively solve legal and real estate problems.
Now, Stan, you grew up on a family farm in this area and have made a name closing on houses and land with your closing company, Jacob Title.
I grew up on a farm which used to be in the country. That, plus having closed on so many homes and farms, one of my colleagues started referring to me as a classic dirt lawyer. Now, I didn't know how to take that at first, that tag, but I realized that's exactly what I do and what I am.
Stan, I know the attorneys at Stanton Law Firm are regular listeners, and we plan to have you on periodically. You and I have seen have impacted this community.
Stay tuned, and you may hear about friends like Steve Booker, Clarence Johnson, Thomas Boyd, and even a few of those offensive line hogs like Hoss Johnson, and maybe you remember some other of those guys too.
I remember Clarence Johnson. He beat us one year. He was unbelievable.
No representation is made that the quality of legal services to be performed is greater than the quality of legal services performed by other lawyers.
This is Eli Gold, voice of the Alabama Crimson Tide. Now more of Talkin' Ball with Scott Theisen and Drew DeArmond on your home for Crimson Tide Sports 97.7 ESPN The Zone. Roll Tide.
Welcome back. Talking Ball 97.7 ESPN The Zone. Scott Theisen, Drew DeArmond with you. Hanging out until 9 a.m. from Bill Penney Toyota, sitting out here in the service department. Coming up here in just a minute, Travis Ryer is going to join us on the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline. Alabama coming off that first scrimmage of the fall camp. Drew, your takeaway from that first scrimmage?
Yeah, there's no doubt. I think the thing I took away from is really good defensively. Got a chance to be special. Will Anderson did not scrimmage at all. No surprise. They know what they have there. Not much of a drop-off with Chris Braswell in his spot at Jack. And, there was a few touchdowns scored in the scrimmage. I think near the end, Coach Saban wasn't satisfied with how the first defense sustained, but still, I think they've got a chance to be special. Certainly Kool-Aid McKinstry looks like he's got, right now, one of the cornerback slots locked down. Kyrie Jackson did not scrimmage. Had a little bit of a situation with a groin, so a lot of work for Eli Ricks. But Terrion Arnold was a guy that, from what I understand, got most of the first-team reps, redshirt freshman, a guy that's got a chance to be a really good player from the state of Florida, from the Tallahassee area, and so he's one to watch as well. And really, iron sharpens iron. So to me, if Terrion's really starting to step up, I think Eli's got ability, just needs to continue to learn the defensive scheme. Then you have four corners that you probably feel pretty good about if you're Alabama, and that's a good thing because of everybody just this day and time wants to try to throw the football at some point in time and then toss it around. So you need corners, and we saw last year near the end with Jalen Armour-Davis certainly at corner, and certainly, Josh Jobe getting injured, that Alabama had to play other guys. And so any kind of depth you can develop is a good thing. And I think defensively Alabama made some strides. And I think offensively, certainly some young receivers, the Kobe Prentices of the world, who really hasn't received a ton of buzz. Not a lot of people talking about him, the freshman from Calera. He had 5 catches and a touchdown. That was very encouraging. And then, of course, no surprise, hearing a lot of buzz about Jahmyr Gibbs and his talent level.
All right, let's bring in our first guest of the morning.
Yes, absolutely. We're going to bring in our weekly guest during the football season, the longtime analyst since 2003, the senior analyst for BamaOnline.com, part of the 24/7 Sports Network. Also the daily BamaOnline.com podcast, the BOL podcast, the SEC Second Helping, and also Talking Tide with Chase Goodbread, and that's Travis Wright. Travis, good morning.
Good morning. How are you guys?
We are good, and you always do a great job of breaking this down. We were just I was giving some of my thoughts on the buzz I heard from the scrimmage. What stood out in your mind from scrimmage number 1 hard to believe you're 16 for Nick Saban?
Yeah, it is. And just listening to him post-scrimmage and trying to glean a few things from inside the scrimmage, it sounds like in some of the primary areas that we talked about the most with this next team, you can sense there are things that are coming together nicely, like perhaps that offensive line with Tyler Steen and J.C. Latham at the tackle positions. And then there are still some areas where there's work to do. You look at the wide receivers. Saban obviously wasn't happy with the inconsistency in terms of drops. They continue to be a bit of an issue for those guys. So once you get beyond Jermaine Burton, once again, you're still trying to figure some things out in that wide receiver rotation where you're also dealing with a couple of injuries right now. And then, defensively, I think you touched on it with the cornerbacks and the emergence of Terrion Arnold. How much of that has to do with him elevating his play? How much of that has to do with some other guys either not available or perhaps not coming along at a rate you would like to see, specifically Eli Ricks in terms of his adaptability to the defense and picking things up and playing in a way and being attention to detail enough to satisfy a guy like Nick Saban when you look specifically at the position he plays. So, about what you would expect, I'd say, coming out of the first scrimmage of fall camp. Bit of a mixed bag.
Are you surprised with Eli Ricks at all?
Not really. If you go back and look, Eli, if you just want to play straight up man coverage and have a boundary corner type come up and challenge a receiver to the short side of the field, he can do that. I mean, he has great length. He's very aggressive in coverage, and that has a lot to do, I think, with the impressive takeaways that he produced during his short time at LSU. But there's more to it in Alabama's defense. And so, there's a discipline that's required on a down-by-down basis. It's kind of like what you encounter as a defensive lineman at Alabama. It's not always about you making the play. sometimes it's about not giving up the big play. And so, that's a consistency thing that I'm sure Nick is still waiting to present itself. And again, Eli Rick's plenty talented, and I'd still be surprised if he's not a very impactful guy for this 2022 defense. It's just that I made the analogy, the comparison to 2018 on multiple occasions now, and I still think that's the case with this group of corners. And I think it's good news that Terry and Arnold is pushing his way into that mix, that previous trio that we talked so much about. But, for Rick specifically, coming off a season in which he didn't complete the full campaign due to injury, he did have a spring at Alabama, and so you kind of figured that by this point he would be well-versed in everything that goes with playing corner in the Alabama defense, but it sounds like he's still got some ground to cover.
And Travis, how surprised were you that we see Kendall Randolph with the ones at left guard? We know Javian Cohen, put it out on social media, the situation he went through this summer with some mental health issues. Is it more trying to catch Cohen up, or do you think, in your mind, is Randolph pushing here?
I think it's a little bit of both. All the credit in the world to Javian, by the way, for not only addressing what he was dealing with directly, but then presenting it in a way that perhaps his situation can help others, because it's very much an issue, not only with just obviously young people and people in general in society, but also student athletes around college athletics, dealing with these issues. So good for him, but I'm sure, in doing so, there was a time away from the day-to-day activities that probably have required him to sort of work his way back in, I would guess. Maybe there's something else going on, but, I can envision Javian being back in that left guard position. That being said, there's a lot of security in knowing that Kendall has not only played tackle, not only played tight end, he's played guard. And I think it's been a little bit since he's done it. I'm sure in practice he's continued to cross-train across those spots. But, this is a sixth-year guy. He's a super senior. And I'm sure Nick also, and that staff in general, wants to give him the best opportunity to be an every-down player. He's made 13 starts at tight end, but we know that's been more of a situational thing. If he can nail down that left guard position, if he's one of their best five, I'm sure they're going to go with him. But do I think that situation is done and solidified for the start of the 2022 season? No, I'm not going to go that far.
One thing that is a highlight for Alabama, and we knew he had talent, but Jahmyr Gibbs coming over at that running back spot, he could take this. I mean, this Alabama offense has been on a next level the last couple years, explosiveness, but Gibbs could really give it a whole nother identity.
Yeah, we've equated really, and especially last year, the explosive play capability of this offense to more the wide receiver position. And even with Najee Harris in that backfield, that was the case with Devontae and Mechie and Waddle, and then going back previously to Henry Ruggs and also Jerry Jeudy. But, yeah, it could have more of a running back flavor this season, especially if they get one of these other backs to sort of go along with Gibbs, and what it could give them potentially in some two-back looks and personnel groupings that are a little bit different than what we've seen the last few years when they were pretty much 11 personnel with 3 wide receivers and a tight end on the field. So, yeah, versatility within the scheme, versatility within how you can use him specifically. He brings a lot of that to the mix.
He really does, no question about that. And then Cam Latu going to be out a little while longer, Travis. Miles Kitzelman getting reps with the ones. A guy I know that they've been impressed with his blocking ability. Didn't have a lot of film as a receiver. Didn't have a lot of experience at Hutchinson, but still pretty impressive the fact that he wasn't here in the spring and already with the ones.
Yeah, and they need that inline guy right now because I think they like to use Robbie Hoots more off the ball.
Yeah.
We've heard Saban talk about him here recently as more of an H type. So, Kitzelman, if you go back and watch his tape at the junior college level, he is sort of that prototype on the line, in line, hand in the ground, traditional Y at the tight end position. So that is a good thing. That was a nice late addition. Also doesn't make you rush the 3 freshman tight ends that you brought in, right? So, he has enough experience in a really good league of junior college football in that Jayhawk Conference to come in and be able to, first and foremost, take on the physical aspect at the line of scrimmage and dealing with guys like Will Anderson and Dallas Turner when you're trying to set an edge in the run game. That's a scary proposition for any tight end on any level probably at this point, but especially if you're taking your first snaps as a player at the college level of any kind, that's going to be tough. So Kitzelman, a nice pickup, and probably not a guy who's going to catch 25, 30 balls in his first season with the Crimson Tide, but definitely a guy that you can envision, even with Latou back, being that third tight end or that third, that extra H. He can give you support at both those positions.
One of the things we heard from Nick Saban before we got to you, and the one thing that he was kind of frustrated with was the penalties. Obviously, it's the first scrimmage. You're going to get a little bit of those, but that was one thing that coach pointed out that he was kind of looking for improvement on.
Yeah, I think that's the ongoing battle for any coach, especially early in fall camp, and likely because you're mixing and matching a lot. So, the continuity isn't always there, and so there's different things in play with different groups that you're putting out there, different combinations that you're putting out there. But, they've been spoiled in recent years on offense because they've been built in a way where, they get a false start or even a hold on first down. 1st and 15, 1st and 20 hadn't really been a problem for them with the way they could, throw the football and produce explosive plays. So, still, and there isn't a coach out there that likes those things. And so not a surprise to hear Saban talk about that.
Well, and Travis, one guy that did receive some reps with the ones, and I've been asked this many times. It's a veteran defense that's returning on all 3 levels, but they ask, what true freshman could potentially contribute. And this guy is growing with his legend every day, and that's Jaheim Otis. He received some reps with the ones, from what I understand. Also, another guy that I think could carve out a role. He had a sack with the second group and with the backups, and that's Curtis Perry. So both those guys already making some waves.
Yeah, Otis, we heard from Pete Golding at the outset of camp, and, in addition to just being massive, and that's after losing about 70 pounds since he's arrived at Alabama, you kind of figured two-gapping and, short yardage defense, goal line defense opportunities, that's a guy that you might see out there. But then you hear Golding talking about him beating one-on-ones. And so, if that's going to be the case, they're obviously in the market for that kind of guy with Fedarian Mathis moving on. And I think Jamil Burrows can give them some of that too. But it's sounding more and more like Otis is more than just a base and maybe big nickel type. In other words, early down type. He could be a guy that third down you feel okay about if you're out there in more of a pass rush nickel. I'm not going to go as far as to say he'll be the only defensive lineman out there in the dime rabbits, but the job is there for the taking. So it's been encouraging to not only hear about the transformation he's worked so hard to this point to put himself through, but it's great to see it show up on the field as well. And same thing for Perry. You're looking for pass rushers, pass rush types, negative play production types, and so I don't think it's limited to just a guy or two. I think they have 13 true defensive linemen on scholarship right now. So they have a lot of guys, but they don't have a lot of guys with a lot of documented production to this point in their careers.
And then, Travis, the wide receivers, you mentioned them. There hasn't been a lot of talk about Kobe Prentice, but he took advantage of an opportunity, 5 catches, a touchdown, did a nice job. I know you mentioned Trayshawn Holden earlier in the conversation. Also heard some things from Kendrick Law and Shaz Preston, so some young receivers potentially stepping up.
Yeah, another area where once you get past Jermaine Burton, who wants the job at this point? So, we really haven't heard much at all from Tyler Harrell to this point, the transfer from Louisville. So you start to think about newcomers and, young players in general. And, when we do that, we do sort of skip over a guy like Trayshawn Holden, who, surprising to think about it, but he did have 21 catches last year. 6 of those came in the national championship game. And whereas, he's not going to give you elite speed in the slot, there is a dependability there that I think you can count on third down and maybe red zone opportunities, because he is a 6'3" receiver. So you like his size. But, with JoJo Earl down, with, Aaron Anderson down for the start of fall camp, you look at that inside position, another area where there's opportunities, and it sounds like Kobe Prentice is taking advantage of those to this point. So if you're a guy like Christian Leary, you need to turn it up, because this is a great spot for you to be in with those aforementioned players out for the time being. And there's a lot of competition, not only at the slot, but at one of those outside positions. And Ja'Cory Brooks, this is when he needs to solidify things with Tyler Harrell not yet making that impact. So it's going to be interesting to watch this. I think this is something that very well might go into the season. And then you're still kind of defining some roles as you go through the first couple weeks, maybe into later September.
No doubt. Well, we can't wait to talk with you next Monday and get your thoughts after scrimmage number 2 of fall camp, and really things really start to amp up after that as far as preparation for the season opener against Utah State at 6:30 p.m. on September the 3rd. But, Travis, we always appreciate the time, and let everybody know how to connect with you on Bama Online.
Just go to BamaOnline.com or Alabama.247sports.com. Either way will get you done.
Thanks, Travis.
Thanks, Travis.
Thank you.
All right, let's get that break in. Wrap up Hour 1. Talking Ball live from Bill Penney Toyota next.
You're listening to Talkin' Ball on 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
Got a new wreck in Decatur at 5th and Austinville. That one may have an injury. Parkway northbound right in front of Parkway Place. No injury reported there. 565 eastbound just before the Parkway southbound exit. That's also going to turn out to be a no injury. 4 Mile Post in Carl T. did report as an injury time. From routine care to heart failure, Dr. Randall Burns and the team at Huntsville Heart Specialist on Bob Wallace Avenue have the expertise to care for all matters of the heart. Captain Nick in the North Parkway, Popeyes Skywatch Traffic Center.
Your home of the Alabama Crimson Tide is 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
There's the knee, and Alabama has again done the job. You know, folks, the more things change, the more they remain the same. Alabama is still Alabama.
Your home of the Alabama Crimson Tide is 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
Do you know that your car or truck or SUV may be worth up to 30 or 40% more than it was last year? It's true. Bobby White back again for Woody Anderson Ford, and now is the perfect time to trade in and trade up to a gold certified or blue certified pre-owned car, truck, SUV, or crossover. While our new vehicle inventory continues to build back, our Ford Blue Advantage certified pre-owned vehicles are nearing 100 models to choose from, and a good variety too. Woody Anderson Ford Gold certified vehicles are 6 years or younger with less than 80,000 miles and have passed 172-point inspection by factory certified technicians. They have a 14-day, 1,000-mile money-back guarantee, a great comprehensive limited warranty, 24-hour roadside assistance, and go home with full tank of gas and a fresh oil change. Get nearly a new ride and none of the worries. Woody Anderson Ford, Jordan at Sparkman. Hope to see you soon.
Hi, this is Wes Neighbors. I'm here with Sam Fleming with Fleming Roofing and Restoration. Sam, tell the folks about Fleming Roofing and Restoration.
Hey Wes, our company Fleming Roofing and Restoration specializes in commercial and residential roofing and repairs. I'm a fifth generation Huntsvillian, and our family's been doing construction business in Huntsville area since 1965.
Sam, what kind of roofs does Fleming Roofing and Restoration do?
Our guys are skilled enough, we can come out and address any kind of leaks or issues you might have on your commercial, on your metal roofing, on your shingles. We can do anything, and we can offer you a solution to repair it, or we can replace it.
Well, you guys also do insurance restoration.
Our staff has 10 plus years of experience as insurance adjusters, and we really do know the inside and out of the claims process at Fleming Roofing and Restoration.
Check out Fleming Roofing and Restoration online at FlemingHSV.com, or you can call or text them at 256-651-9440.
Hey Wes, we show up.
Ann Adams with Berkshire Hathaway Rise Real Estate is the one name to know if you're buying or selling real estate. With years of local experience, Ann Adams offers buyers in-depth knowledge of the local housing market and will narrow available properties down to those you'll be interested in so you can save time when shopping for your new home. If you're ready to sell, Ann offers a seamless process using accurate pricing and expert negotiation skills to make sure you get a fair price for your home. Call Ann Adams today at 256-337-2625 or log on bhhsriserealestate.com.
Hi, everybody. Eli Gold here. Right now, indoor air quality occupies top-of-mind awareness for families and business owners. Rick Smith and the trusted professionals at Environmental Comfort Systems can take care of your indoor air quality concerns with their state-of-the-art indoor air quality solutions. Environmental Comfort's indoor air quality systems remove 99.9% of airborne contaminants so you and your family can breathe clean, fresh air. If anyone in your family suffers from allergies, or if you just want the security of knowing the air you breathe inside your home is free from viruses, bacteria, pet dander, dust, and odors, Environmental Comfort Systems are the professionals to call. Environmental Comfort also carries state-of-the-art, high-efficiency comfort systems that increase home comfort, keep humidity in check, and help you save money on your energy bills. Give my friend Rick a call or visit them online at envcomfort.com and breathe cleaner air today. Environmental Comfort Systems, Alabama license number 92314.
What can you expect when you shop for a firearm at Bullet & Barrel? Expect great prices. We specialize in quality over quantity. Expect great service. Our professional sales staff is never pushy. We won't talk you into something that doesn't fit your needs. You have the right to make a smart, informed decision. Expect Bullet & Barrel, Alabama's only 5-star indoor shooting range, to support you after the sale. Bullet & Barrel, 3252 Lehman Ferry Road. Like or follow us on Facebook. Come see us soon.
This will turn journalism on its ear.
Watch our stream on WZZN TV on Twitch and YouTube.
But you are the greatest hero in American history.
We are 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
Indeed, welcome back. Talking Ball, 97.7 ESPN, The Zone. Just about ready to wrap up hour one. 256-576-4977. That's the number to the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline. You can get in on the conversation if you want to this morning, recapping Alabama scrimmage, Auburn scrimmaged as well. We'll check in with Brian Harsin here to kick off hour number 2. But beginning of the show, we were talking about the whole Mark Stoops, John Calipari thing. And over the past 10 NCAA tournaments, the 20th winningest programs in March Madness, Kentucky falls 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7th on that list in the past 10 tournaments. So a lot of people were talking, we've talked, they are 18-7 in their last 10 NCAA tournaments, by the way.
Yeah, I mean,
just throwing that out there. I mean, I know we were talking about that.
A lot of pros would love to have that success.
Yes.
But Kentucky is different because they are a true blue blood. I said that, Jeff. Get the earwax out. I said they're a blue blood. I wasn't disrespecting them. But again, they just haven't won a national championship since 2012. And I think it's 2016, Scott, that the last time they've been to the Final Four. And so it's been, for Kentucky, that's been a while. Okay? Let's understand something. So they're a little frustrated. They want to win another championship, and I know John Calipari does too. And they've got I think a really good roster heading into this season. They're recruiting well right now. So again, I understand. Yes, Jeff, they are the most decorated program in the SEC, and they always will be. They're always going to be the preeminent basketball school. We understand that. But all we're trying to say is that Calipari needs to pipe down a little bit. He'll get his facilities. Kentucky basketball is always going to be number one. But we were just saying that I think he went a little far, and I don't think he directly meant to disrespect the football program, but it just wasn't a smart comment because it sounded like a shot at one. And Mark Stoops has done a remarkable job. And I'll just say this. Kentucky's program is a lot better than it was when he got there. And that's what Coach Stoops was talking about when he said on third base, because trust me, they were on first when he got there. He took over for Joker Phillips, and as our great friend Freddie Maggard has told us, they had a MAC talent level. They were not very good, and they've come a long way since then.
Well, I kind of lead all of this into because Greg Sankey a couple days ago, I don't want to say he made headlines, and he said he's not ready to make headlines with this yet, but he did say that he wants the NCAA to take a fresh look at the NCAA men's basketball tournament, perhaps with an eye towards expansion of the current 68 field. He says he's open to conversations about the big dance. He said that if the last team in can win the national championship in baseball, going back to Ole Miss winning it, he said that basketball, there should be a healthy conversation that doesn't exclude people. He says that he goes on to say that March Madness will become a much more controlled by a handful of school. Oh, that was the Florida Gulf Coast. But Stranke stressed that the tournament could change. Not that it would, but the suspicion among some mid-major and low-major programs is that the automatic bids would instead be given to more teams from the rich and powerful multi-bid leagues. So Greg Sankey's not ready to make some headlines there, but did go on the record and say that it's about time we look and give the NCAA basketball tournament a fresh look.
Well, I don't know that I necessarily agree with that. I kind of like the field of 68 myself. I think the first four has been a good addition. I think, you don't want to water it down. I know there's been talk over the years of letting everyone in and just expanding the tournament even more, but I don't necessarily think that's on the horizon.
Yeah.
I think it's one of the great events, maybe the best in all of sports.
That's what he's saying as well. He said that, don't wake up tomorrow morning and expect it to change, but there's feelings and, out there that something may happen in the future.
Mm-hmm. No question about that. So we'll see, but I just think the SEC needs to keep improving. They certainly have improved in the last 5 to 6 years under Greg Sankey's leadership. I think the basketball league has come a long way. I think it's consensus now a top 3 league in the country, and depending on how conference realignment goes in the next 5 to 10 years, could jump up another notch or two.
All right, when we come back, we're going to hear from Brian Harsin, check in on the Auburn scrimmage number 1 for the Tigers there, plus some questions around the rest of the SEC. See if you can answer all of them with us when we return. Hour 2 of Talking Ball live from Bill Penney Toyota.
You've got to experience Toyotathon at Bill Penney Toyota. They've got the selection with over 700 new Toyotas to choose from. And they've got the extras with Bill Penney perks and a 10-year unlimited warranty. So get on over to Bill Penney Toyota today and experience Toyotathon. Bill Penney Toyota in Huntsville and online at BillPenneyToyota.com. Bill Penney's Toyota 10-year unlimited warranty is valid through the 10th year of ownership. Valid on new vehicles only. See dealer for details.
Get your college football fix all year long on the Chuck Oliver Show. The king of college football brings you 2 hours of live and local college football talk throughout the year with the biggest experts from across the nation and exclusive interviews with the coaches and players you want to hear from. It's the college football talk you deserve on the Chuck Oliver Show.
This is Chuck Oliver. Listen to me weekdays at noon on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
WZZN, Union Grove, Huntsville, Alabama. 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Just got a new wreck in northbound on the Parkway near Mountain Gap. That one's coming in with injury and possible entrapment, so we got a lot of emergency equipment headed that way. Everything else looks good this morning. You be careful on your trip in. Dr. Sandman has the Somnodent, a safe, insurance-approved alternative for snoring and sleep apnea. Dr. Sandlin, 350-CARE. Captain Nick in the 72 and Jeff, Popeye's Skywatch Traffic Center.
From the Fox 54 Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Emily Owen. For this Monday, expect high temperatures back in the lower 90s. Heat index values will be near 100 for the afternoon. Otherwise, you can expect to see a partly cloudy sky. For your Monday night, mostly clear. Low temperatures falling into the upper 60s for the overnight. Rain returns back to the forecast for your Tuesday. I'm meteorologist Emily Owen on your home for ESPN Radio 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
This is an Alabama legacy moment.
Few individuals in the history of American sport have possessed greater athletic ability than Bessemer, Alabama native Vincent Bo Jackson. Auburn University's second Heisman Trophy winner, a three-time All-SEC and two-time All-American selection, Jackson is the only running back in Auburn history to rush for more than 4,000 yards in a career. In 1986, both the NFL's Tampa Bay Buccaneers and MLB's Kansas City Royals drafted Jackson. Deciding not to play for the Buccaneers because they didn't want him to also play baseball, Jackson signed his first professional contract with the Royals. The next year, the Los Angeles Raiders drafted Jackson with the understanding that he would also be allowed to play baseball, making Jackson one of the few athletes to succeed in both professional football and baseball at the same time. In March 2013, ESPN Sports Science named Jackson the greatest athlete of all time. He was inducted into the Alabama Sports Hall of Fame in 1996 and the College Football Hall of Fame in 1998.
Sponsored by the Alabama Bicentennial Commission, the ABA, and this station.
Log on today, 977ESPN.com. Welcome to Talkin' Ball with Scott Tyson and Drew DeArmond. Call into the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline now, 256-576-4977. That's 256-576-4977. Now, here's Scott and Drew.
It is hour two, Talking Ball, 97.7 ESPN The Zone, live from Bill Penney Toyota, sitting out here in the service department. Monday through Friday, 7 a.m. to 7 p.m., and then on Saturday, 7 a.m. to 5 p.m., they can service your vehicle here at Bill Penney Toyota. And the Auburn Tigers going through their first scrimmage of fall camp as well on Saturday. And here is Brian Harsin giving us all an update on the Auburn Tigers fall camp.
So we had a little situational scrimmage. We got some live work in tonight, which was good. We needed that. I thought the effort was really good tonight. Execution will improve. We got a chance to play a lot of guys, so kind of your typical first scrimmage. Get a lot of guys in there, let guys tackle live, let guys try to break tackles, see if we can move the ball down the field, what's going to happen in certain situations. We've been emphasizing that quite a bit, and I thought the guys handled it well tonight. I was proud of them, just the effort. I thought the effort was there. Urgency, we talked about that. It can always be a little better, but it's first scrimmage. There's a little bit of nerves, and being in the stadium, guys are excited. Some of the new players that haven't been in the stadium, they look forward to that. But just a few standouts. I thought Damari Alston ran the ball well today. So we had a couple of freshmen that stood out. Damari Alston stood out. Thought he ran the ball really well. And then Camden Brown had a touchdown tonight. So those were two freshmen that I thought played well. And then other than that, everybody got some opportunities on the offensive side. So a few catches here and there for everybody, like 2 to 3 catches. Barr had 3 catches. Shanker had a couple catches. Fromm had a couple catches. Shanker also had a touchdown tonight, which was good. So just kind of getting the tight in the ball. Quarterbacks, I thought all did some really good things. Finley operated well tonight. That was good to see. Thank you. And I thought we had a long drive on the very first drive with the first group. It was about 14 plays, so he executed well on that drive. I thought Robbie did well too, making some plays and operated the huddle and did some good things on that part, on his part. Calzada, solid tonight, had a touchdown as well. Carlson was 4 for 4, so it was good to have him back out there too, just after the injury, and to see him get out there and get a few kicks. He's been really doing well in camp, but tonight was good to be out in the stadium, I think, for him as well. We had a few we didn't have the quarterbacks live, so it was hard to really gauge the sacks, but Derek and Eku, both those guys were coming off the edge, and they were doing a really good job. But we had Eku credited for a sack. I think Derek would have had one or two in there as well. And then at the end of it there, we did a little goal line period, and there was a fumble, and Craig McDonald picked it up and ran for about 95 yards on it. So it was a great play. I don't know which linebacker it was that kind of came through there and made the fumble actually happen. But Craig picked it up and ran it in, and that was how we finished it out. So it was good for the defense, good energy that way. And overall, I thought, we got some good work in. We're a ways away from where we need to be. I think guys know that. So the next step is Friday will be our next scrimmage, and then what do we do tomorrow to get ready for that? So just the preparation, the urgency, all those things are going to be key factors as we start to dive into a little bit more of the depth chart and what we want that to look like going in the second scrimmage. So overall, no decisions right now are going to be made at this point. We'll watch the film tonight. Tomorrow we'll correct, and then Monday will be a day off for these guys, and they start school on Tuesday. So Monday will give us a chance as coaches to kind of go back, evaluate, look at where we are, maybe move some guys around the depth chart, start pinpointing maybe some more specific spots for them. That will include special teams, which is a key factor for us as well, just with the travel squad, and then dialing that in before that second scrimmage on Friday. And then after that, you got to start getting it down to your two deep, your scout teams, and then really getting on to Mercer in your first few games so you're prepared for that. So that's where we are right now, and with that, questions.
Questions coming out of the Auburn scrimmage obviously has to deal with the quarterbacks. He did praise T.J. Finley, praised Robbie Ashford a little bit, Zach Calzada. As he noted, though, all three, they were not live, so they really couldn't tell a whole lot. But T.J. Finley, as of right now, seems to have a good grasp of the offense.
Well, and no team really in the SEC is going to have their quarterback be live unless they're just dense like Jeff. But you're not going to allow your quarterback to be hit. This time of year. Because it's the most important position still in college football, professional football. You want to have your first QB be healthy. And that's, and now, back 20, 25 years ago, sometimes that wasn't the case. Sometimes they would allow their quarterbacks to be hit. But again, it did somewhat surprise me. But we also have to remember, with Zach Calzada, he missed the spring, and he had shoulder surgery. So there could be a rest factor there. And I think there was some inaccuracy issues early. Now, we'll see how much he improves. A lot of times what you want to see is how big a guy takes a jump from scrimmage 1 to scrimmage 2, and, how they play. But T.J. Finley, a guy that has some experience, who played quite a bit behind Bo Nix last year at Auburn, should be the most familiar with the system. Because, again, remember, Robbie Ashford transferred from Oregon, and also Zach Calzada transferred from Texas A&M. So, he had to get away from Dirt Neck to save his career. So, they're still learning. So T.J. Finley is the most experienced. I'm not surprised he would operate the offense the best. Let's see, though, if he ends up being the most consistent overall and how much Ashford, improves in Calzada. Because we're going to have Justin Hoganson on with us from Auburn Live on 3, part of on3sports.com. And, He had some outstanding scrimmage notes, did a great job covering it, and getting some intel. And it seemed as though if you ranked the quarterbacks via the first scrimmage, it was T.J. Finley, the incumbent, number 1, Robbie Ashford, the athletic guy from Hoover, number 2, and Calzada, number 3. But let's see if that holds. And then I thought it was interesting. We heard from Brian Harsin just now. We know Tank Bigsby's going to be the heartbeat of the running game. That's why he returned. But Damari Alston, the freshman from Woodward Academy in Atlanta, and we were over there near that area. For SEC Media Day, Scott, he's a guy that's was a centerpiece of the recruiting class, and it looks like he came in physically ready, and that he is, even though they got Jarquez Hunter, he's making some waves and trying to earn the trust of this coaching staff and making plays. Same way with Camden Brown, who we've been hearing about for a few weeks now, the true freshman from St. Thomas Aquinas. Wide receiver, a big area of need for Auburn as far as for guys to step up and be productive. He's a 6'3" kid, great frame, and he made plays as well.
All right, Justin Hokanson will give us more on the Auburn Tigers' first scrimmage of fall camp coming up here in just a little bit. 256-576-4977. That's the number to the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline. You can get in on the conversation this morning. How about these questions surrounding the league as we get ready? We know we got high school football season starting this week. College football season will actually get underway next Saturday. Don't forget it. It's week 0 of the college football season. That gets underway next Saturday. Both Alabama and Auburn will open up on the 3rd. But Drew, Bryce Young, obviously the league's top quarterback, the Heisman Trophy winner, the reigning Heisman Trophy winner, is the league's top quarterback. But who is the league's top quarterback after Bryce Young this fall? Is it Hendon Hooker, K.J. Jefferson, Spencer Rattler, Anthony Richardson, Will Levis? Who is the SEC's second quarterback?
I mean, we'll have to wait. That's going to have to play itself out. If I had to name the second QB before the season, I would probably lean toward Hendon Hooker. But nothing's guaranteed. Even Bryce's spot is number 1. Even though I do think he's the best player, he certainly earned the Heisman Trophy last year, and I think he's number 1 to start this season. But we haven't seen how Spencer Rattler is going to acclimate himself to South Carolina with a different supporting cast in a different league that actually doesn't view defense as a disease. And then we've also and you've got K.J. Jefferson. How much progress can he make?
Right.
I think he's been underrated by some folks. Some folks don't have him even rated in their top 5 to 6 quarterbacks in the SEC. I don't think you can really say that due to the fact that there is a lot of new guys this year and guys that are unproven. I think a guy with vast potential is an Anthony Richardson at Florida, but we haven't seen him go out and perform. We've seen him do backflips and do all these, athletic, marvel type things, but we've also seen him against Georgia last year throw up on himself. So he didn't play very well. But again, he was young. And so how is he going to do with, a coach that doesn't put on a Darth Vader mask? How is he going to do in a new system and, and with a full off season to acclimate himself? Could he be a guy that explodes? Lane Kiffin, he's been a great designer of offense and building, schemes around quarterback strengths. I mean, is Luke Altmaier going to win this job, and could he really improve and play well? Or is it going to be a Jackson Dart? We don't know. I do think that even though their team doesn't have a lot of expectations, and year in and year out usually doesn't, Will Rogers in the scheme that he's in the 3rd year under Mississippi State coach Mike Leach should be very, very productive. You should see 4,000-plus yards out of this guy.
Right.
So he could be one of the better quarterbacks in the SEC. But he's not usually mentioned in that top handful just because the expectations for Mississippi State aren't quite what, they are at other places. As Matt Wyatt pointed out to us, they're always picked in the lower third of the West, and yet they always seem to finish in the middle of the pack, even sometimes in the top 3. So we will see, and they have more experience than anybody coming back. And the one thing we know with Mike Leach, he doesn't pay attention to 4- and 5-star recruiting and all that kind of stuff. he recruits in a unique way. He wants to find his guys because he runs the air raid. He runs things differently. He's not a guy that runs the football a lot. So he wants to find certain kinds of receivers, certain kind of running backs that fit his scheme. And in the first couple of years, I'm not sure they had a ton of that. But this year, especially where you've watched him in other places, like a Texas Tech or a Washington State, the longer he's at a place, the better they get, because they get their culture set and recruit their kind of guys.
All right, the SEC's most impactful transfer of this next year. Who do you, if you had to, I mean, is it
Jahmyr Gibbs?
You think it'll be Jahmyr Gibbs?
If he stays healthy, yes. I think he's going to be dynamic for Alabama. I think as a runner receiver, a guy that can also return kickoffs, I think he's going to be an electric performer. I just really do. And I think when you surround him with what he'll have with Bryce Young, with an improved offensive line under Eric Wolford, with some receivers that I think are going to step up. Now, Travis Ryder kind of referenced it in our conversation in hour one. Ja'Cory Brooks had a poor scrimmage, okay? Probably the worst in his Alabama career. He's a rising sophomore. He stepped up huge last year when, of course, Jamison Williams went down, and before him, John Mechie, and made plays in the Iron Bowl after J-Mo got ejected for targeting to help win that game in a stirring comeback. He made plays, had a deep touchdown catch in the Cotton Bowl win after Mech had gone down against Georgia, and then when J-Mo went down the national championship game, he made some plays as well. But he had 3 drops, including a couple of touchdowns, according to the people that you in the intel you get. And so that's really not Ja'Cory. Coach Saban has talked about what a good fall camp he's had. He's a worker, a guy that's really just put his head down since he got there. So, but I'll just say this: Julio dropped balls, Amari Cooper dropped balls. It's a lot of times how you respond from a performance like that. And so I still think Ja'Cory is going to be one of the main guys. He just has to step up and improve. And again, it's one of those things from scrimmage 1 to scrimmage 2. How do you play? And I think Jermaine Burton has probably been the most consistent. You heard Travis Ryder talk about that. But it's the guys behind him. And Trayshawn Holden is a true junior that hasn't been talked about a lot. Bryce Young's roommate, I believe. And so there's some chemistry there. He had a touchdown catch. He's made some plays. I wouldn't call him explosive. I would call him reliable. And sometimes that's one of those things that can get you in the top 5. But then I would also watch guys like Kobe Prentice, who had 5 catches and really stepped up and had a touchdown catch, because there's a lot of playing time to be had. And like Travis said, after Burton, it's pretty wide open. It's going to be interesting to see, and it probably will play itself out going into the Texas game, who steps up.
All right, well, Kentucky or Tennessee challenge for 10 wins?
Well, I'm more Kentucky. You know that. I don't buy Tennessee. I don't think they're very good on defense, and they act like they're going to be better, and and maybe they will be under Josh Heupel, but I'm going to have to see it to believe it. Tennessee has a pretty difficult opening schedule as well. I think that game at Pitt is a little dangerous. I know they USC stole their receiver, and that's exactly what they did. No matter what Lincoln Dummy says, because he thinks we all fell off a turnip truck. But I mean, it was a total NIL grab. Because he was worried probably Jordan Addison about Keon Slovis coming in. There was no Kenny Atkinson, though Slovis was very productive at his other place, but that doesn't guarantee you're going to be as productive at a place like Pitt. But still, I just really think when you look at it, that's a dangerous one because it's on the road. Pat Narduzzi doesn't get enough credit for what he's done at Pitt. And then I just think when you look at it, that Florida game early, I know it's not what it used to be, where it used to decide the SEC in some ways, but I still think it could be a pendulum game for each team and which team goes where. And again, as we've said, the facts are the facts. Tennessee has lost 31 out of 32 to Florida and to Florida and Alabama over the last several years. I mean, when you think about a 32-year period, that's really, if you're a Tennessee fan, kind of disheartening when you've lost that many, or excuse me, a 16, 17-year period when you've lost 31 out of 32 to two opponents that you used to dominate. Well, Alabama, they dominated. They never really dominated Spurrier. They were very competitive,
right,
and beat him every now and then. But now, lately, in the last 17 years, they've lost 16 of them, and to Alabama, they've lost the last 15. So they just have not been very competitive against two of their biggest rivals. And until they are, I don't think they'll win 10. Because, again, if you're going to win 10 games, you've got to beat the Floridas and you've got to beat the Alabamas.
Got to beat somebody that you
haven't been beating.
Right.
And so that's why so that Butch Jones had a couple of 9-win seasons, but that's why they haven't been reaching double-digit victory years, because they haven't been controlling their division and beating Florida or Alabama.
All right. Let's get out to the phone lines. Got a couple more questions to get through the SEC, but let's get out to the phone lines. Michael's with us up first on line 1. Good morning, Michael.
Hey, guys. Good morning.
Morning.
I just got back in the car. Did y'all just do a number 2 quarterback in the SEC section and not mention Stetson Bennett?
Yes. I mentioned Hendon Hooker first.
Okay, I missed Stetson Bennett part on there. I feel like number 2 SEC quarterback got to start with Stetson Bennett coming back from the national championship. Played great. Playoffs, had that one-down game against Alabama in the SEC championship game, but I mean he played pretty great there. They're going down the stretch.
He did.
Well, that is true. I mean, I forgot to.
I've had him in my top 4 or 5, and I think he should be.
Should you put him at number 2 though?
I mean, personally, I would put Hooker before him. I know he won a national championship, but if you put Hendon Hooker behind that Georgia team last year, I think Hendon Hooker would have had the same kind of success.
Okay.
Maybe even more, but based on what I saw out of Hooker. But again, I'm not disrespecting Stetson Bennett. I think Bennett's one of the top quarterbacks in the SEC. But you asked me right now. Now, by the end of the season, he may be number 1 if Georgia repeats, or he at least may be number 2. But I'm just saying, when you start the season, doesn't mean that's the way they're going to end. But if going into a season, if you ask me, when you look at Hooker's stats and what he was able to do with a roster, to me at Tennessee that's not nearly as talented as Georgia's, that's why I rated Hendon Hooker number 2.
I feel like Stetson Bennett having the whole off season as the number 1 guy coming back into that system, year 8 with the team, something like that. He could really make some jumps. I think he could make some noise nationally too. Maybe not a Heisman finalist, but he could be in that conversation, I think.
Yeah, maybe so. And then, like you bring up a point, Michael, he going into the year, he wasn't even considered to be a lock to be the starter. He
didn't even start the first game.
Yeah, they were talking about JT, and you're right. JT started against Clemson.
Yes,
was okay, but then they started talking about he was hurt again. Probably more about the between the ears. But anyway, and then Stetson took over and won the confidence of the team, and then Riley was the starting quarterback. So now you're right. I mean, he'll be the starter from the jump. I don't think he's going to be challenged, and we'll see how he does with his first full off season as the dude.
Yeah. All right, guys. Hey, I just moved to the area. You guys have got a great show. I appreciate listening to you guys every morning, and they'll keep up the good work. All right.
All right.
Thank you, sir.
Thanks, Michael. All right. Pat is with us on line 2. Pat from Tuscaloosa. Good morning, Pat.
What's up, Pat?
Good morning. Hey, I wanted to stay on topic that with this SEC quarterback. Hey, you mentioned it a little while ago, Drew, and I think you're hitting on something. Do not forget, and it may be Night Train Lane, and the reason I say that is Lane has a running back this go-round that he hadn't met expectations yet, but he has the potential to be lights out, thus opening up passing for a quarterback in Jackson Dart. And hey, I think people are sleeping on Lane Kiffin. What do you think?
Well, I mean, I just think they're polarizing. I think, I'm not as convinced. I think Lane will have a good team. I don't know about a great team.
Yeah.
I think it'll be a 8-4, 7-5 type team. I don't think they'll be a 10-win team. I know David Johnson from Rebels 247 is higher on them and thinks they have the chance to be that kind of team and finish second in the West. But I'm not buying it right now. Yeah, I don't. They did that last year, but I'm not buying it this year. I think I know some people, they may be sleeping on him, Pat, but I still think when you look at LSU LSU, that's the team to me that's being slept on because I think they're going to be much more well coached. I think Brian Kelly's got a good team now. He doesn't have some depth in spots, but if they stay healthy, I think they can be better than Ole Miss.
Okay, I just think that Lane picked up some really good pieces in the transfer portal that could make a difference for him, because he is a special play caller, and that all I know is that I'm going to be over at Ole Miss for that Alabama Ole Miss ball game because it's going to be fun to watch. How do you say, get the popcorn out?
Yeah,
well,
it could be interesting. I mean, look, it's going to be one of two ways. And Pat from Tuscaloosa, Pat, thanks for that phone call. Pat says that Lane Kiffin's a great play caller. Yes, he is, but is Lane Kiffin a good coach? Can Lane Kiffin coach all of these guys, get them all on the same page, get them all ready to play? Yes, he's a talented play caller, but is Lane Kiffin a good coach? That, I think, is what we've got to find out.
Well, yeah, we'll see how they manage the roster because they've transformed it quite a bit. And remember, he's got a lot of new pieces on his staff because DJ Durkin ruined his career and went to Texas A&M probably. And then you look at his
I wouldn't say
offensive
ruined his career.
Well, he's made a lot of money. And you'll do that.
Maryland didn't help his career.
Well, it didn't help at all. But
right.
I think his career was on the way back up until he derailed it. And then Jeff Levy left him to go to Oklahoma as OC. But he's got Charlie Weiss Jr., who he's had a lot of success with. So I'm not anticipating a big offensive drop-off there.
We got to get that break in. When we come back, Justin Hokanson will join us as we kind of break down this Auburn scrimmage.
You're listening to Talkin' Ball on 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
Got a big backup on South Parkway. Got a wreck northbound near Mountain Gap. It paged out with injury and possible entrapment. They canceled rescue on it, but it's still got an injury. Snelling needs an experienced machine operator, direct hire, excellent benefits. Snelling, how Huntsville's best companies hire talent. Captain Nick in the Jordan Lane Popeye Skywatch Traffic Center.
McCurry Motors is your car and van rental headquarters. You can rent the vehicle you need today. Family in town, sporting event, church function, no matter what your need, McCurry Motors has you covered with a wide selection of cars and vans available for rent. They have 12-passenger Mercedes Sprinter vans, 12-passenger Ford Transit vans, 15-passenger Ford Transit vans, and 15-passenger Chevrolet Express vans. They have 2 locations, Highway 72 in Athens or Max Luther Drive in Huntsville.
The Huntsville Sports Commission, a not-for-profit organization, is driven by the love of sports, and we're excited to announce several events already planned for this fall, including the Gulf Coast Conference Soccer Championship, the AVCA Fall Collegiate Beach Championships, the NCAA Division I Regional Cross Country Championship, and the Running Lane Nationals Cross Country. For the love of sports, the Huntsville Sports Commission. Find out more at huntsvillesports.org.
When you call most roofing companies, all you'll hear is, you need a new roof. Not when you call Fleming. At Fleming Roofing and Restoration, we're focused on your needs, whether it's an easy repair or a full roof replacement. Folks around here have trusted Fleming since 1965 for all their residential and commercial roofing needs. And as the area's storm damage experts, Fleming knows all the ins and outs of the insurance claims process. Log on FlemingHSV.com to schedule your free estimate today. Fleming Roofing and Restoration. We show up.
I'm attorney Gary Lackey. You know, you'll hear people say we're like a family, but here at the Lackey Law Firm, that's really true, not just a saying.
I'm Justin Lackey. With my father and my sister, we have a special connection to each other.
I'm Jennifer Lackey. At the Lackey Law Firm, when we take on your case, you become part of our family. You really do.
And we'll always do whatever it takes to get everything you deserve.
If you're injured, you worry about getting well, not about paperwork or insurance companies or figuring out how to get to your lawyer's office. I'll come to you.
We worry about your case so you don't have to.
When you've been injured, we know that your case is probably the biggest thing going on in your life. More important than almost anything else.
And it's important to us too, for one simple reason. Family takes care of each other, and at the Lackey Law Firm, we'll take care of you.
The Lackey Law Firm. The Lackey Law Family. 1-800-4-RIGHTS.
No representation is made that the quality of the legal services to be performed is greater than the quality of legal services performed by other lawyers.
This is Paul Feinbaum. Listen to me coming up today at 2. Now back to Talking Ball with Scott Theisen and Drew DeArmond on 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
Indeed, welcome back. Talking Ball, 97.7 ESPN, The Zone. We just heard from Brian Harsin during that segment. Last segment before the break, as we were talking about Auburn's first scrimmage, a scrimmage that they had inside Jordan-Hare Stadium. We talked a little bit about the quarterback battle. We talked about the running back position. But we can kind of break it all down now with our next guest.
Yes, he does a great job as a huge part of what's probably the fastest growing Auburn website in the United States. He's part of On3Sports.com, part of Auburn Live on 3, and we always enjoy catching up with our next guest, Justin Hokanson, and he's with us on the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline. Justin, welcome back, man. It's great to talk some Auburn with you this morning. How are you?
I'm doing well, man. I need you to just, follow me everywhere and give me that opening. That was great.
I appreciate it. You do a great job. You guys are covering the whole gamut. I mean, we've had Jeffrey Lee on from you guys, Keith Niebuhr talking recruiting quite a bit on our show. We've had you on talking Auburn, and you had great scrimmage intel. Almost it seemed like a play-by-play. You had great sources there, just following your coverage. I was a little surprised, I guess, at the quarterback rotation, but I also said this, Kavit, before you came on earlier in our show. People forget that Zach Calzada had the shoulder surgery. He did not go through spring. Do you think that had a lot to do with why he seemed to be running third in this first scrimmage, and he needs to, just get more reps? How did you take the quarterback rotation and performance?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's sort of the part that we don't know. I mean, we have people inside that say, hey, this guy looked good. He threw the ball well. This guy threw a touchdown, and we know that stuff. And of course, Brian Harsin, every time we've talked to him, has said they all have done good things. I mean, he's like they've all done good things here and there. The part that you don't really know, I mean, unless you're in the quarterback coaching room, is how they split up reps and why they do it. I mean, why did Robbie Ashford start with the twos? Mm-hmm. Why did Zach Calzada not really get any reps with the ones until very late in the scrimmage? Yeah. He didn't run with the ones until, drive 8 or 9. So why is that? And then when he did run with the ones, he led a touchdown drive. And so I don't know what goes into those decisions. I mean, I would imagine they're tracking during practice, they're tracking everything. And so maybe they have some kind of aggregate that they know that each guy's gotten a certain amount of drives with the ones and twos. And so, that maybe they have their way of making it even. But that's the stuff that I don't know, and I don't know how much they weigh that. You leave the post-scrimmage, and when they're watching film, how do you weigh a bad snap? How do you weigh, well, he's with the ones, and he was with the twos, and, well, this happened that wasn't his fault that shut down that drive, so it's hard to blame that quarterback for, a false start. And, there's just so many things that go into trying to make it even to determine who the best quarterback is, which is why I think you go back to what Brian Harsin talked about in terms of kind of operational leadership of the offense, in and out of the huddle, getting the plays, knowing where everybody's supposed to be. That stuff isn't subjective. That is, concrete. You can see who has a better handle on that stuff, and that's a big deal to Harsin. He values that a lot, and it sure sounds like TJ Finley does that well, and he probably should. He's been there a year, and he has a good rapport with the teammates, and so I think Harsin values that a lot, and I think it's certainly possible that Zach is somebody like Zach and Robbie too. Maybe is a little behind in that. And so they got another week of practice here, and they got another scrimmage Friday. After that, it's going to be narrowing it down. I mean, I think if you're Zach or Robbie, you need to come back with a really strong scrimmage on Friday. If you want to, I think because I think TJ did well. I don't think there's everybody there thought TJ did well. And then he was the best of the other two. So it'll be an interesting week, and then a Friday scrimmage. And after that, reps are going to have to start being cut, and they're going to have to start making decisions. I mean, you got a game coming up. So practice reps and game preparation is going to have to change, and not everybody's going to get reps at that point. But I will say this, last thing I'll say on the quarterback. I don't think this thing's over when Mercer happened. I mean, I don't think any of these guys have separated themselves so much that when one of them's named starter, it's just that's it. I mean, I could easily see this thing. They're going to be practicing. I could easily see this competition. You got Mercer and San Jose State. Who's to say that multiple quarterbacks don't play in those games and you continue the competition behind the scenes, sort of heading into Penn State, and maybe you're trying to find a for sure guy for Penn State. I'm just saying, whoever's the starter, it's not okay. Competition's done. That's the guy for the rest of the year. Like I think all three guys have done good enough things to where whoever's named that starter better keep it up, because I don't see the competition just ending like that.
Yeah, that's the thing. If you look into this and if you read into everything after the first scrimmage, I mean, yeah, right now you would say T.J. Finley going to be the starter, but there is so much time between now and when they really need to have that concrete starter that if Zach Calzada doesn't have those things, those intangibles that Harsin liked when Finley, that he mentioned on Saturday, there's still plenty of time for Zach Calzada to go out there and prove himself in the next couple scrimmages and even a game or two.
Yeah. I mean, that's sort of how I see it. And look, let's also be real. The defense dominated that scrimmage Saturday. So when we're talking about the quarterbacks, keep it in perspective of the defense won that day. So no quarterback went out there, even Finley. No quarterback went out there and just, lit it up. Okay? So, I mean, I think they all did. I think Calzada had a touchdown pass. Finley had a touchdown pass. I mean, they did good things, but the defense won that day. So no quarterback has gone out there and just been unbelievable. But yeah, I mean, I think Finley has the momentum. The race isn't over by any means, but I think after that scrimmage, you would have to say Finley has the momentum. And I think it's up to the other two guys to sort of regain that, have a good week, and somebody go out there and have a good scrimmage on Friday. But I think TJ Finley certainly has some momentum right now.
Justin Hoganson, Auburn Live on 3 with us, talking some Auburn first scrimmage of fall camp, second year under Brian Harsin. You mentioned defensively. This defense, due to the coordinator change and due to some struggles at times last year, maybe being undervalued going into camp, and because of a lot of the injuries, but they have Owen Papo healthy now. But what's the thing that's impressed you most with the intel you've heard about? Obviously it sounds like the defensive line has been impressive, very athletic front, and then a guy that we've kind of been hearing a lot of buzz about, because Jacoby McClain was the heart of the defense last year. He's gone on to the NFL, but Cam Riley really seems to be a guy coming on.
Yeah, Cam's going to be an interesting player to watch, just because he's 6'5", 230, and you're like, man, if you can put that together with understanding defense and knowing what to do, obviously that's an imposing guy, and he's got a chance to be a really good player. I think that position is kind of the one that's got to come along at linebacker. I think everybody knows what Auburn's got across the defensive line, which is a good unit. That's a unit good enough to go against the best offensive lines in the league and compete, which is all you can really ask for. The defensive line is good enough to go against Alabama or Georgia and hang in there. The secondary, I've heard really good things, and they've made strides this fall. I think you look at Keontae Scott coming along really quickly, good athlete. Obviously, Donovan Kaufman, Nehemiah Pritchett, and Jalen Simpson have raised their game. The secondary seems like in a pretty good place in terms of athletes and guys coming along. It'll take a few games for them to mesh, but I think that group should be pretty good as the season goes on. Linebacker, to me, is the question of the defense. You've got Owen Papo, who is obviously has all the talent in the world, but he is coming off an injury last year. So you want him to regain the form a few years ago when he had 90-plus tackles. But even if he does that, you don't exactly know what you have in Cam Riley. You don't exactly know what you have in Wesley Steiner in terms of on the field in SEC play when it matters. Those guys they just didn't play that many snaps before. So there is still a little bit of unknown with them. So I think that's sort of the key position. And they're not really deep past that. There's not a lot of depth past Steiner, Cam Riley, and Owen Papo in terms of guys you're just totally comfortable throwing out there in SEC play. And so I think linebacker is going to be where it's at. If those guys can come on, if Cam Riley and Wesley Steiner can raise their level and be where Owen Papo is, then I think you've got a defense that could be, a top 4 unit in the league. But I think that linebacker position is just going to be big. I mean, it's just going to be. I mean, think about what you lost in Jacoby McClain and Chandler Wooten, guys that. I mean, they knew where to go, when to go. They made tons of tackles. I mean, that's hard to replace. So the linebacker, I think is the question to whether Auburn's defense is really, really good or is just missing something until those guys can sort of get it going.
And Justin, I think you've also reported that Wesley Steiner was having a good fall so far as well.
Yeah, Harsin said that he actually singled Wesley Steiner out on Saturday after the scrimmage, and said, hey, let me just say this. Wesley Steiner's had a good fall camp, and I believe Steiner is the one. So they did goal line situation at the end of the scrimmage, and Wesley Steiner is the one that popped through with a good hit on the running back and forced a fumble that Craig McDonald picked up and ran back for a touchdown. So that might have gotten Harson's attention as well. Wesley Steiner's a really intelligent player. I remember watching him in the spring and being out there when Papo was out. He was out there a lot and getting a lot of reps, and real vocal guy, well-built, kind of shorter guy, stockier, but really, really strong, well-built guy. But vocal, seemed to know where guys should go, seemed to be a good leader in terms of getting guys set up. And so I think he's got all the right things to be a good player. And it was encouraging to hear Brian Harsin say, hey, he's had a really good camp. Like we didn't ask him about that. He kind of made it a point to single him out, which is always a good sign.
The offensive line is obviously a key topic for Auburn, and really it kind of starts at that center position with Nick Brahms. How healthy is he after being hurt last year and trying to work his way back this year?
Yeah, so we reported this last night on our message board, and then I just kind of put out a link for people that aren't subscribers, sort of just drawing attention to it. I would say it's a little bit of a developing situation. So Nick Brahms obviously had surgery in January, missed the spring. He had some minor procedures done again in June, just to try to clean some things up in his knees. He started fall practice. And saw him out there and was going through stuff, but clearly he is still struggling with those issues in his knees, whether it's just the surgery didn't completely fix it, or it's just he's played a lot of football, and it's just one of those things. And so he's working really hard to stay healthy. He didn't scrimmage on Saturday. I think that was in large part due to trying to manage his reps throughout fall camp. And just, hey, like we know what he can do. Let's be smart about it. I think that his status for the opener and beyond, I would say, is very much in question at this point. As they go through fall camp, I just think it's a fluid deal where they're going to have to monitor him daily and just sort of, how are you feeling? Can you go? Can you not go? I mean, obviously he has to go a certain amount in terms of conditioning. He can't just sit out and then just start games. So I would say it's a very fluid situation with Nick Brahms in terms of his health and how much he can go and how much pain he's in. I mean, if he's working through pain every day, how much does Nick want to do that? I mean, you know what I mean? I mean, there's really, I think, some decisions that have to be made, even for Nick. Like, hey, am I just going to have to deal with a lot of pain in my knees all season, or am I hurting the team? Like, this is just stuff I think that's probably going through his head. So, I think you got Tate Johnson, who has worked at center. Jaleel Irvin, of course, was the backup center. Somebody like Brandon Council could probably even play center. Tate Johnson is a young player. He's a little undersized. I like his aggressiveness, and he's done some good things in fall camp, but he's only about 285, and that's a little bit of a concern, I would say, if you're starting at center. I mean, 10 years ago maybe, but, in this day and age, 285 at center could be a liability. But all that to say, Nick Brahms, I think that's something we're going to have to watch, and I would say, his health is very much an issue. And, I mean, is it out of the realm of possibility that Nick Brahms doesn't play this season? No. Could he miss the first two games? Could they sit him out and just say, our goal is to get you healthy for Penn State, and then let's just see where we go from there? I could see that as a plan as well.
Some great intel there, the Nick Brahms situation. Justin Hoganson with us, talking Auburn's first scrimmage from Auburn Live on 3. But I will say we're all big Austin Troxell fans here. I've known him since he was in 7th grade. He got healthy last year, played some good football for Auburn, played quite a bit at left tackle. But Killian Zaire, junior college transfer, looks like he's healthy. Right now, Justin, does it look like Zaire and Troxell are the tackles?
Yeah, I think that's pretty much set. Even Harston kind of said that on Saturday when he was sort of talking about the offensive line. He said, Zaire and Troxell on the edges, kind of like, that's what it is. And so, yeah, I think those two are definitely your offensive tackles. And, Troxell's another guy that's obviously had his issues, his knee issues, and he's another one that they're probably, making sure that they can keep him as healthy as possible and have a good year. He's obviously played a lot of football, and Zaire's a guy that physically looks the part, really physically imposing player who I think gained a lot of confidence last year. He's one of those guys that I look to on the line that could elevate that group if he can be a different guy this year. He's got the potential to be a really good offensive tackle, as well as Keandre Jones at guard. Like, those two guys, to me, have another level they could go to this fall that would help that group. But yeah, Zaire and Troxell are pretty much set at that tackle position.
One of the bright spots, I guess you could say, in the Saturday scrimmage was that Brian Harsin did kind of mention a couple freshmen that had some roles in the scrimmage and that could potentially have some roles this coming fall.
Yeah, I mean, Camden Brown we've heard about, I guess, for the last few days and really going back. I mean, he's a guy that really from the beginning, he was in that first rookie practice, and then he didn't even participate in the second rookie practice. They just moved him right up with the vets, and since then, he's been making plays every day. I think I've seen him up there maybe twice as a player of the day in terms of practice player of the day. He's catching touchdowns. He's just clearly a guy that's out there making plays and has an athletic ability that they don't have at receiver, really. I mean, when you walk out there and see him, if you didn't know anything and you just looked at the receivers, you'd point at him and say, well, he's probably the junior. He's probably a junior, right? And he's a true freshman. He's bigger than everybody else, which is sort of the credit to him, but it's also a credit of Auburn needing more big-bodied receivers. And so, yeah, he had another touchdown in the scrimmage on Saturday, and he looks to be just too good to keep off the field. Even if he doesn't know the whole offense, even if he doesn't know everything, he's too good to keep off the field. He's going to get out there and have his opportunities. And then I think Damari Alston's the interesting one at running back. He had a good scrimmage. Harsin talked about him. He started the scrimmage. This is one of those things where we don't know why decisions are made. From what I understand, he started the scrimmage with the twos with Robbie Ashford. And Jarquez Hunter did scrimmage and play. So clearly Alston's a guy that is doing well, and they said, hey, we're going to throw you out there with the twos to start the scrimmage. You deserve it. And he's a guy that had a good day. And, how much of the offense does he know? Are they comfortable with him pass blocking? Can he possibly get in there and take reps from Jarquez Hunter? I think that's a big question right now. I mean, obviously Tank's your one, and Jarquez is a beast and is a really good player. But if Damari Alston's coming along and doing good things, do they feel like he's a guy that, they could mix in with Hunter? It's possible. I think Saturday might have been a first step for Alston for that. We'll see if he can kind of keep it going. Obviously, it's going to come down at running back. You better know the offense. If they call a check, you better be able to pick up a blitz. Like, that's the stuff that you better have down pat. And so we don't know how far along Alston is. But in terms of ability, that's some good things happened on Saturday, I think, with him. In terms of him playing this year and him being a guy that can be a good back in the SEC, I think that was really encouraging what happened Saturday.
Well, great stuff, Justin, as always. We look forward to catching up with you hopefully next week to get your thoughts on this, what happens on Friday. I'm sure you're going to have great intel at Auburn Live on 3. Let everybody know how to connect with you and you guys' coverage and your ever-growing website.
Yeah, auburnlive.com, man. auburnlive.com. Literally, they're running a deal where you can sign up for a year for $1.
Mm-hmm.
So that's not my decision, man. If On 3 wants to do that, they're just giving it away. But it's awesome, man. It's growing, and we feel really good about everybody staying on, obviously, after a year. So it's just growing like crazy. The fall is going to be really, really interesting. Interesting football season, interesting recruiting. I think it's a big, big year for Auburn football in a lot of ways. And so I would encourage people to be a part of a site, but if you're going to be a part of one, we'd love auburnlive.com to be one you're a part of, and I think it's going to be a really interesting fall and come be a part of the community, man. And as always, I appreciate you guys having me on for sure.
Thank you, Justin.
Great stuff there, Justin Hokanson. Auburn scrimmage in the books, number 1. Plenty to think about and digest. We'll do all that when we return to wrap up the show with your tomorrow's headlines today, live from Bill Penney Toyota.
You're listening to Talkin' Ball on 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
Got a big backup on South Parkway. Got a wreck northbound near Mountain Gap. It paged out with injury and possible entrapment. They canceled rescue on it, but it's still got an injury. Snelling needs an experienced machine operator, direct hire, excellent benefits. Snelling, how Huntsville's best companies hire talent. Captain Nick in the Jordan Lane Popeye Skywatch Traffic Center.
Tom Luganville here for my friends at Woody Anderson Ford. Bobby White and his team take great pride in their service department, and you can see it the moment you walk into those beautiful new service lanes. And just like a championship team, they all work together to make sure your experience is second to none, whether you drive a Ford or not. Also, check out the gold certified pre-owned inventory at Woody Anderson Ford for great deals every day. Stop by and see them at Jordan and Sparkman or at Woody Anderson of Madison on Hughes Road, or visit WoodyAndersonFord.com.
If you're ready to lower your utility bills, it's time to call Eagle Insulation. Eagle can handle it all. Attic re-insulation, insulation removal, wall insulation, and new construction insulation, commercial and residential. Our primary goal is to save you money, and lots of it. Typical clients realize their return on investment within 3 to 6 months. That means the re-insulation actually pays for itself and then some. See if we can help you. Contact Eagle Insulation today, 256-755-1556, or log on insulatewitheagle.com.
This is Wes Neighbors talking to Chris Haygood of Bob Wallace Appliance. Chris, what sets you apart from other appliance dealerships?
Wes, these appliances are going into the most used room in your house, your kitchen. The way we have these appliances displayed, it's easy for you to visualize how they'll look in your home. Wes, what sets us apart is the people. They're well trained. In fact, they live and breathe these appliances. And if you need service, you'll really appreciate our parts department.
Contact Bob Wallace Appliance at 256-533-2121.
Hi, everybody. Eli Gold here. Right now, indoor air quality occupies top-of-mind awareness for families and business owners. Rick Smith and the trusted professionals at Environmental Comfort Systems can take care of your indoor air quality concerns with their state-of-the-art indoor air quality solutions. Environmental Comfort's indoor air quality systems remove 99.9% of airborne contaminants so you and your family can breathe clean, fresh air. If anyone in your family suffers from allergies, or if you just want the security of knowing the air you breathe inside your home is free from viruses, bacteria, pet dander, dust, and odors, Environmental Comfort Systems are the professionals to call. Environmental Comfort also carries state-of-the-art, high-efficiency comfort systems that increase home comfort, keep humidity in check, and help you save money on your energy bills. Give my friend Rick a call or visit them online at envcomfort.com and breathe cleaner air today. Environmental Comfort Systems, Alabama license number 92314.
AVIQ. Who is AVIQ? AVIQ is audiovisual the intelligent way, where we put our IQ to work for your AV needs. With more than 100 years combined experience in audio, video, and automation, our team of experts is dedicated to one thing: helping you discover technological solutions that make your home special. Once you experience a game or a movie on one of our state-of-the-art home theater systems, you may never leave the house again. AVIQ can build the entire system for you or provide the quality components if you're a do-it-yourself. But AVIQ is more than just home theater and state-of-the-art sound systems. We offer a variety of control options for home technology. Energy efficiency, heightened security, and improved quality of life are all attainable through the automation of home systems. Intuitive and user-friendly control is our main priority in designing a system that meets your needs. Don't just take our word for it. You need to see it to believe it. Come visit us at our state-of-the-art showroom on University, just east of Jim and Nick's, across from AT&T, or visit aviqhsv.com.
In 1982, Bob Baumhauer introduced Alabama to the Buffalo Wild Wing, and quite frankly, we've never been the same. Back then, it was Wings and Things in Tuscaloosa, but now, 40 years later, after 4 name changes, Baumhauer's Victory Grill is the #1 sports-themed restaurant in the state. Bob's Alabama Hot Chicken is something that has to be tried to believe, plus the new Bam Bam Chicken and the Louisiana-style Go Fish, a whitefish over rice topped with shrimp etouffee. And Baumhauer's is fighting inflation with some new affordable favorites. Visit Baumhauer's on the South Parkway today.
The best in local sports talk from the 256. We are local.
When you're #1, you don't have to worry.
We are award-winning. Thank you for listening. 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
You'll be set for life.
time for tomorrow's headlines today with Scott Tyson and Drew DeArmond on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Major League Baseball talk from yesterday. The Atlanta Braves come away victorious against the Miami Marlins. And it was a day game yesterday. The Atlanta Braves this season do not like day games one bit. They came in, Drew, yesterday with a 17-22 record in day games with a 3.74 ERA. The Atlanta Braves are 52-24 in night games with a 3.61 ERA. Not even close, but they survived yesterday. They get a day game win in day games that they do not like.
Yeah, they did, and it was Bryce Elder with a story called up from AAA, and really it was the story of the weekend, was how, some guys stepped up from the minor leagues. Kyle Muller in the first game of the day-night doubleheader. They called Ian Anderson back up. He was much better. But Bryce Elder, 7 innings, 10 strikeouts, Scott, and then the Braves get hot in the 9th inning and score 3 times.
Yeah.
Thanks to, Money Mike, as they call him, Michael Harris, the second. I think he's the front runner for NL, Rookie of the Year. Hits a first-pitch fastball out to tie it, and then Roy Hobbs, a.k.a. Vaughn Grissom, as I've been calling him, the next rookie they've called up, who's been playing second base due to the Arcia, hamstring injury. He's done a great job. He hit, you got another couple of big hits, and Dansby Swanson had a couple of knocks, and they did a great job of coming back and winning it 3-1 and sweeping the Marlins 4 games and staying close to the Mets. Now they get the Mets back in Atlanta.
Yeah, that road trip didn't start good.
No, they lost 4 out of 5. We talked about that.
They went 7 and ended up going 7. I believe 7-4.
Yeah, because they won 6 straight.
Yeah, during that stretch, and to compound the day-night game difference, just to tell you how big of a difference it is in day and night games for the Atlanta Braves. They are only hitting .233, 26th best in the majors in day games. And night games, the Atlanta Braves have the second best batting average in the majors as a team at .264.
Yeah, no question about it, and they've definitely done better at night, and luckily I do believe that this first game of this it'll be a 6:20 p.m. start. The Atlanta Braves will take on the Mets. In this latest series that and they have 7 games left, all at home against the Mets. And so hopefully they'll be able to stay in this division race. But certainly, they're definitely, I think, going to be a wild card team, though the Phillies have made things interesting by staying hot themselves lately and playing good baseball. But the Braves, one of only 3 70-win teams in the National League right now, 70-46. And Doc Holliday, a.k.a. Spencer Strider, taking the mound for the Braves tonight against the Mets.
Yeah, Spencer Strider will start today. Charlie Morton will start Tuesday. Jake Odorizzi will start Wednesday. Mm-hmm. The Thursday starter for the Atlanta Braves is yet to be announced. For the Mets, Carlos Carrasco today, Tajon Walker on Tuesday, Max Scherzer on Wednesday, and Jacob deGrom on Thursday. All right, that's going to do it for your Monday edition. The Thursday starter for the Braves could be Max Fried if he's cleared after his concussion.
And Kyle Wright, with some arm fatigue, is taking some time away.
Yes. All right, so that's going to do it. Live from Bill Penney Toyota. We'll see you guys tomorrow.
The world champs are back. The Braves are out to defend their